Harmattan is here, and the signs are obvious. Cracked lips, dry skin, and even the soles of the feet are not left out. The Harmattan weather is by nature harsh, and this comes with adverse effect on the health. Another primary challenge during the Harmattan is the heightened concentration of airborne dust particles. Now, the period poses health challenges due to low humidity and cold temperatures. The northern part of the country is mostly affected by the Harmattan. The season can have significant health implications, particularly for the vulnerable groups like children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing medical conditions. We're gradually approaching the peak of Harmattan, which is usually in December and January, when the dry, dusty winds from the Sahara Desert are at their strongest, leading to cooler temperatures, low humidity, and poor air quality. Well, the Harmattan is a natural phenomenon, you agree with me, that we must all contain, but taking precautionary measures should be of utmost priority. Every weather requires an adaptive strategy in order to cope with the excesses. But what are the general precautions and health tips we can adopt aside staying hydrated and avoiding outdoor activities during the peak Harmattan hours? On Weekend File tonight, our focus is health tips during Harmattan season, and our guest is Dr. Ade Dolakpo Ayokunle Fashawe, Mandate Secretary, FCT Health Services and Environment Secretariat. We'll also have situation reports from across the country. Thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguele. First, let's bring you the news. President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu have departed Rio de Janeiro after attending the 2024 G20 Leaders Summit. The Nigerian presidential airplane took off at Galileo Air Force Base, Rio de Janeiro, earlier today. Nigeria was invited as a guest country for participation at the summit of the 20 biggest economies in the world. At the summit, President Bola Tinubu announced commitment of Nigeria to the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, launched by the Brazilian presidency of G20. He also had some bilateral meetings and saw to the signing of letter of intent for Nigeria's partnership with 3 Brazilian companies to facilitate development of Nigeria's livestock sector. The president is expected back in Abuja any moment from now. We turn to legislative affairs. The House of Representatives has reaffirmed commitment to strengthen human rights protection in Nigeria, with a promise to pass the Human Rights Defenders Bill into law. Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Human Rights, Mudashiru Lukman, made the disclosure during an oversight visit to the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja. He assured the Human Rights Commission that the committee would ensure that more funds are provided to support the Commission's work in the 2025 budget. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Tony Ojukwu, commended the lawmakers for ensuring amendment of the NHRC Act 2010. He also thanked former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, for facilitating the payment of compensation to victims of human rights violations by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. He briefed them on the Commission's recent report on human rights violations and counter-terror insurgency operations in the Northeast, which he said had helped him to prevent Nigeria from being invited by the International Criminal Court to respond to allegations of human rights infractions. In other news, Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, has advocated partnership between the police and the community towards achieving a secured and peaceful Nigeria. He made the remark while donating 1,000 operational motorcycles to Kano State Police Command to boost its operations. Elizabeth Yila Lamido reports.
The Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, donated 22 operational vehicles to Kano State Police Command with a promise to do more for effective policing. In fulfillment of his earlier pledge, the Deputy President of the Senate donated 1,000 motorcycles to the command.
The business of security is not something that is bestowed on the shoulders of government alone. And it's not something that is bestowed on the police force alone or other security agencies. It's a business for all of us.
I urge my fellow police officers to embrace this motorcycle as tool of service excellence and let us wield them with pride, professionalism and steadfastness.
While appreciating the efforts of the police in the protection of lives and property, the Deputy President of the Senate also said more of such interventions are underway.
My intention is this. I'm going to provide more operational vehicles. And indeed, all policemen and women in Kano State should have operational motorcycles. And I'm going to channel.
Other stakeholders at the occasion appreciated Senator Barau's gesture and called for others to emulate him, as security is the responsibility of all.
To sustain the stability of the nation's financial system, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation is emphasizing strict compliance by banks to know your customer policy as mandated by the Central Bank of Nigeria to facilitate hitch-free reimbursement in case of bank closure. Now, there was also the need to deepen synergy between media professionals to actualize the corporation's mandate, which is a thrust of the 2024 NDIC Editors Forum. Joel Popola reports.
The dynamics of the global financial system is fast evolving, and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) for more than 3 decades has been on top of its game. The 2024 NDIC Editors Forum with the theme Strengthening Nigeria's Financial Safety Net, the Role of Deposit Insurance, a convergence of stakeholders in the media, among whom are senior executives from the Nigerian Television Authority, led by the Director News Alima Musa, is one of the ways to bridge the knowledge gap and assure the banking public of safety of their funds. The Managing Director and CEO of NDIC, Bello Hassan, who was represented, noted that the corporation disbursed funds to depositors of the now-defunct Heritage Bank, assuring those yet to receive their deposits that all pending issues will be speedily resolved.
The corporation is already working assiduously to ensure that depositors with amounts over the maximum insured amount of 5 million naira are paid through liquidation dividends from the realization of the defunct bank's assets and recovery of debts.
The collaboration, which culminated into the Editors Forum, stakeholders say has made remarkable impact on the financial exposure of Nigerians.
But the education editors get and information we get from such collaboration help us in informing the citizenry, informing Nigerians where we are and how to approach their issues, especially in cases of distress.
What NDIC has done over the years is to make sure that newspaper journalists, broadcasters understand exactly what their operations are all about. Without this kind of forum, there will be a gap.
The takeaway from the forum is ensuring consistency and sustenance of Nigeria's impressive records in deposit insurance. In Lagos, Joel Pokbola, NC News.
The Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, in collaboration with Nasarawa State Government, regret to announce the indefinite postponement of the 6th edition of the National Council on Mining and Minerals Resources Development meeting, which was earlier scheduled for 27th to 29th November 2024 in Nasarawa State. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Mary Ogbe, notes that the decision was not made lightly and deeply valued the time, efforts, and enthusiasm shown in support of the event. She apologized for any inconveniences the postponement may cause delegates. And on politics, the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum is calling on the federal government to urgently review the microeconomic and fiscal policies to address the welfare of Nigerians. This was contained in its 8-point communique issued after its 2 days meeting in Jos, Plateau State. Ideyang Gyang reports.
In attendance were members of the Working Committee of the Party, Board of Trustees, National Assembly Forum, and Former Ministers Forum.
The forum wishes to pledge that all PDP governors will continue to aggressively pursue policies and programs that will reduce the hardship and ensure progress and development.
It resolved to suspend the next meeting of the party to honor one of their members, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, whose wife will be buried on the same day earlier agreed by the meeting. It therefore advised the National Working Committee of the party to call for next meeting latest the first week of February 2025. The forum further commiserated with the government and people of Plateau State over the Laranto Katako market inferno and the government and people of Jigawa State over the tanker explosion where many lives were lost. In Jos, Nigerian and Abuja, NTA News.
In a landmark initiative aimed at enhancing tourism and strengthening community involvement, Ekiti State Bureau of Tourism held a public engagement session to develop tourism policy framework for the state's economic growth. Olukemi Sani has details.
Ekiti State is blessed with numerous tourist site locations and endowed with waterfalls, hills, breathtaking valleys, vast tracts of unspoiled nature, wildlife reserves, as well as unique natural warm and cold therapeutic springs. As this industry continues to grow, a comprehensive tourism policy is essential for effective resource management, cultural heritage protection, and the establishment of guidelines for sustainable tourism development in Ekiti State. The public engagement session is designed to gather diverse perspectives, allowing policymakers to understand the views and requirements of various stakeholders, including community leaders, local business owners, hoteliers, security agencies, cultural custodians, and tourism operators.
Government is just a passive face. We may not be here tomorrow, but the policy will be policy. All of them will be happy that they have contributed their own concern at making the tourism policy of Ekiti State sustainable.
The event underscores Governor Biodun Oyebanji's commitment to fostering inclusive growth and sustainable development within the tourism sector and to position Ekiti as the first state in the country to own a tourism development plan and attain leadership targets in global tourism markets. In Ado-Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll begin our conversation on health tips during Harmattan. Please stay tuned.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, with passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita, prepare them to win every day.
Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir. Dishes of life is so much taste.
Of course, my darling.
Sonia tomato mix in a new standard pouch.
Oga Greg, you want to buy cough medicine again? Why haven't you gone for a test like I advised?
This your cough. You need to check Amo. When I had a bad cough, Madam told me to go for tuberculosis test. After the cough syrups didn't work, they discovered I had tuberculosis. After the free test, I was even treated for free. Now I'm fine.
Solomon is right. Oga Greg, check Amo. Make you dey sure. Because who no go, no go no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB test and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 or dial *3340# for more information. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
Our food, our health, our tomato paste. There is no tomato paste, the taste of my house. There is no tomato paste, Vigico tomato pesto, Tiwani. 100% natural tomato. Namune, alelelelelele, oh, alelele, oh, ale. There is no tomato paste, the taste of Nigeria.
For a certain period of time, shouts of joy and faces of defeat punctuate the daily activities of Newi. The reason? The Kingsley Obiuku Foundation Unity Cup 2024.
The vision behind the Unity Cup was simply community development and looking at creative ways in which we can reduce the current high crime rates in the South.
This year's tournament brings together the towns of Amici, Azibu, Ekulumiri, Osumeyi, Ukpo, Akuihedi, Ebenato, Esinifite, Unubi, and Otu.
I feel happy, I feel excited.
The foundation's efforts remind us that with vision and dedication, local initiatives can create lasting positive change across Africa and beyond. Join us. Let us move forward together.
Thank you for staying tuned. And of course, you know the conversation will be on health tips during the Harmattan. Harmattan, you know, is associated with various ailments like cold, catarrh, cough, and sore throat. Now, the dusty nature of the atmosphere increases the risk of conditions like asthma, pneumonia, among others. Now, this is why medical experts are advocating adherence to safety tips throughout the season. Hingino John Adams will tell us more.
Harmattan is creeping in as usual with haze, cool and dry wind that blows gently from the Sahara Desert into the Gulf of Guinea. Though the breeze may seem calm, the harshness enveloped in it are enormous. From increased risk of respiratory problems, reduced visibility due to dust particles, dry skin, chapped lips, irritated eyes and throat, the health risks associated with the season are endless. That is why the public need to protect themselves so as to remain healthy. How do people protect themselves during Harmattan?
When you are going out, you just try and put on your pullover or your cardigan and stay safe out there.
It makes me feverish sometimes, especially in the afternoon.
Medical experts say adhering to immunity-boosting tips like eating healthy and staying hydrated will help people to stay safe and enjoy the season.
I know one thing people don't know is that water is like engine oil pouring to an engine. 70% of the body is made up of water. So when you're slightly dehydrated, it affects almost all the organ systems.
So people with tendencies for asthma, for bronchitis, must watch out for Harmattan season and be prepared adequately for it.
Make sure you wear mask when going out, and make sure you avoid dusty environments. And if there is any issue with your health, make sure you get to your healthcare provider. They'll be able to help you.
For health challenges associated with Harmattan to be reduced to the barest minimum, Medical experts are calling on all stakeholders to intensify awareness campaigns. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guests. We have with us in the studio Dr. Adedolakpo Ayokunle Fashawe. She's the Mandate Secretary, FCT, Health Services and Environment Secretariat. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Fashawe.
Good evening, and I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. We're glad to have you. But you were just sharing with me behind the camera, you just concluded a National Council meeting on health in Maiduguri, and you took ill as a result of the Harmattan. So I'll begin with your experience. Tell us, of course, we know that the north is mostly affected during the Harmattan because of low humidity, but share with us your experience over there.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say Borno, Maiduguri is a beautiful city. I got sick because I did not adhere to the instructions. Wear nose masks, stay hydrated. It was so beautiful, I went as far as horse riding without any hydration. My experience was that suddenly I developed allergies. My eyes were watery, I couldn't breathe. The humidity, as she has said, was so low that there was not enough oxygen in the air. I had to drink about 6 bottles of water to get myself back to normal. So when they said I should come here tonight, I'm like, I don't feel well. But I think coming here tonight may save someone's life if we listen to these tips and engage in this conversation we're about to have. Thank you.
Indeed, Doctor. And of course, you know, this Harmattan is a yearly weather. But you get to see that people are not readily prepared for it, even when it shows up. So tell us about preparedness. You are already affected by the Harmattan, and I was battling with my sore throat earlier. But tell us, how should people prepare?
Okay, so I will try and talk in layman's English. Harmattan is when the weather is cold. But Harmattan comes with different variants. The weather is extremely cold in the morning, extremely hot in the afternoon. This is when the humidity becomes less than 40%. And what that means is, I'm happy my senior colleagues spoke before me. 70% of our body structure, what makes up our body, is water. Yeah. So when the humidity is low, we are losing water, we can get more water. That is Harmattan. It's not only cold. Then at night, it gets cold again. How do we take care of ourselves during this period? First of all, be aware of yourself. There are some things called allergies. You would have noticed that when there's dust, you are coughing, even if it's not Harmattan. Or you have you have illnesses that when the weather is funny, you start to have catarrh, or the children cough. These people are the people we call vulnerable. During Harmattan, they are to protect themselves with nose masks. Stay hydrated, always have water with you, and stay indoors as much as possible. As a matter of fact, if we notice during Harmattan, our wood on our furniture starts to change shape, or you start to have shocks, electrostatic shocks, if you touch yourself or touch furniture. All of this is due to the low humidity. So wear slippers not to experience shocks. Try as much as possible not to have open fires, because the low humidity also encourages explosion. So I've taught you self-help, nose mask, environment, no open fires. And for the best for all of us, the most important thing is everything I've said here tonight, please say it to the next person. Now, for those who do not have any illness or who thought they were okay like me, and went to Maiduguri to ride horse. Harmattan is no respecter of religion, person, how healthy you are, or how fit you are. You have to be self-aware. Particulate matter in the air, dust, is not good for our lungs. Our lungs cannot filter it. Children should be well protected and covered in the morning, and in the afternoon, they should take a lot of water. At night as well, they should be well protected. Same for adults. Harmattan is no respecter of age persons. Thank you.
All right, Doctor. I love the tips you just shared because I'm also learning. But let's hear the aspect, you know, the skin is usually affected, the eyes also, especially in cities where the humidity is really low. You can't really see, the visibility can be, you know, bleak. So tell us about how people can, you know, put into consideration some of the precautionary measures they can put into consideration during this time.
So I've said I'll try and be as non-medical as I can be.
Yeah.
Our eyes need water to move freely. When the humidity is low, water is absorbed from our eyes. That is why you see people, water is coming from their eyes, or some people have red eyes, or some people cannot even open their eyes. It's either the dust or the low humidity. Wear sunglasses. Very important. Now for the skin is made up of water as well. In Abuja here, we have lost a patient to heat stroke. This is something in my 20 years of practice of medicine I have seen in a textbook. I didn't know it happened in Nigeria. His shop had corrugated iron sheets and he was feeling unwell, and on his way home, he just slumped. He was so dehydrated, we couldn't get a vein to set up a line. Tried to hydrate him, unfortunately we lost him. So it is that bad. Always stay hydrated. He lost fluids through his skin because he was indoors. Yes.
All right, Doctor, we'll pick up with a conversation. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Bro, I tell you, this match 3-0. Okay. If I win you, something will come out.
Don't play with me. Fast ball. Ah, you know what? You go shot. Bro. Now we got this man.
Keep the banter going with Glow Borrow Me Credit or Data. Dial star 303 hash to borrow airtime or data and pay later.
Is it ready?
Only one thing I did it.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow Unlimited.
The holiday season, the chance to showcase my exquisite taste in furniture through hosting my annual Christmas get-together. With LifeMade Furniture's Christmas discounts, I can upgrade my space without breaking the bank.
Save big this festive season with LifeMade's mega discounts from November 1st to December 31st. For more information, call 081 2000 6000 or visit elifemade.com. Wish you a stylish Christmas with LifeMade Furniture.
When you wake up in the morning, you wanna start your day. Start with Kellogg's, It is tasty and nutritious. That's why we start our days with Kellogg's. So you can reach your grace, stay active and alert. Start your day right, 'cause breakfast time is Kellogg's time. You can reach your grace, stay active and alert. Start your day right, 'cause breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
I always want what's best for my family. That's why we ensure we start our day with a Kellogg's breakfast, fortified with essential vitamins and minerals to stay active and alert to reach your grace.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Hey Nigeria. Ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Thank you for staying tuned. The conversation is health tips during the Harmattan. We'll bring some reports before we continue the conversation. We hear residents of Kano are experiencing cold weather, talking about the Harmattan, with varying degrees of temperature, making the state hazy and chilly, prompting people to resort to innovative ways of protecting themselves from the harsh conditions. Yahanasu Hassan Barau reports that cold protectives among people in Kano are in high demand, as some business-minded individuals are also taking advantage of the season for financial benefit. Let's see that.
Kano is experiencing excessive cold, with temperature reading below 25 degrees Celsius every morning, and sometimes in the evening, the weather conditions remain the same. It is a period which restricts activities as people protect themselves from the chilly weather condition. Therefore, it is a season that forces residents to seek ways and means of living in a warm environment. At the moment, there is a high demand for warm materials such as thick clothing and hot water. In addition, people cluster around fire points to get warmed.
You don't say this summertime now, everybody will make you cover yourself well.
People that don't have dry skin tend to get dry skin, and then those with dry skin, it gets worse. So you can use moisturizers. We have emollients, different types of topical formulations that will moisturize our skin. And then locally, you can even use shea butter if you can't afford any costly lotion.
Likes of Hamidu are making fortunes out of weather conditions brought by nature, and it appears the chilly and hazy weather conditions will escalate the booming business from now to the first quarter of next year. In Kano, Yahana Hassan Barau, NTA News.
And from Enugu, we hear the season there is also having its implications on the residents, not leaving out vulnerable groups like the children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing medical conditions. Yukira Ugo has healthy tips from experts to help navigate the season.
Harmattan is a season associated with dry, cold, and humid climatic conditions. It is witnessed in Nigeria between November and February. Harmattan is brought in Nigeria by northeast trade wind that blows dry and dusty wind from Sahara Desert across West African sub-region. The season causes environmental pollution to the dust-laden wind and thereby exacerbates the rate of respiratory and other communicable diseases.
If you take a lot of water, even the plenty of water will take care of the dryness of the lips and the dryness of the nose. Asthmatic patients are encouraged to stay indoors if they can, as well as keep their inhalers handy.
There is some food that we are likely going to be taking so that we can be able to combat all this. Like we are going to look into hydrating foods, like the water-rich fruits and vegetables.
During the Harmattan season, streams and rivers dry up. As a result, people in rural communities who adopt open defecation run higher risk of contracting communicable diseases such as cholera. Community leaders advocate the use of water system toilets and drilling of boreholes to ensure adequate supply of potable water. In Enugu, Ukere Awu, NTA News.
All right, Dr. Fashawe, you just saw the reports there from Kano and Enugu. I'd like us to look at the protective wear. This is the time you should also protect yourself from the weather, right?
Yes, thank you. As you can see, I'm well covered. It's in the evening. I'm warm. I have a scarf on.
By the way, you look lovely.
Thank you very much. And the report from Kano was quite interesting. It's not that people are taking advantage. People are becoming more aware. And I plead and I implore with everyone listening to take all those tips as important. But I noticed something. They were burning to keep warm. Please let us avoid open fire, because during Harmattan, a little fire can rage to become a wildfire. So keep warm with clothes, keep warm with moisturizers. You can put all sorts of creams. Shea butter is very good, but open fire is dangerous. Wear nose masks and follow all the advices from Enugu, except burning open fires. Thank you.
And from Enugu, we saw the nutritionists there talk about the, fruits to take to stay hydrated. But again, from reports we hear this is the season where foodborne diseases is likely to occur because of exposure, non-preservation preservation method of maybe fruits, vegetables, because of the, the dust in the air. What would you advise?
So this is very interesting. I'm the Mandate Secretary for Health and Environment, the first ever Environment Secretariat. It was due to the wisdom of the Honorable Minister, Barrister Yeltsin Wike, that we needed an Environment Secretariat. If we cannot go back to his first inaugural speech as minister, the first thing he said when he was talking about environment was green. We have to plant trees. If you hate greens, you hate life. Why? From even in the villages, tales by moonlight and all, we shade ourselves with trees. Trees are the most natural form of trapping heat and carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide that can cause global warming and all the big English grammar. However, for Harmattan, if you're out in the sun, find a shade. Now, regarding the fruits we eat, environment and health are closely related. Yeah. The quality of your environment is equal to the quality of your health. If you defecate openly, flies will come. And by the way, I'm very happy to proud that a state in the northern part of Nigeria has been declared open defecation free. And if we go there now, we would see that things like cholera, dysentery, malaria, all those things are reduced. So I congratulate that state and the NGOs and the federal ministry who made that happen. Now, the fruits we eat. We do not want flies to carry diseases from one point to the other. But fruits are important. And what do? Wash well. If you want to take an orange, wash it well. Fruits that are rich in water, watermelon. It's called watermelon. Take a lot of watermelon. Any fruits you like, just wash well. There's some foods that tend to dehydrate us during Harmattan. Let's stay away from too much dry foods. Gari, cold water, ice block, ice cream. These are little tips. You know yourself. Watch your body and how it reacts. Fruits are essential, especially if they are clean. Wash well. And also wash your hands all the time. Thank you.
Okay, it's glad you talked about the environment in your response there. the aspect of dust infiltration and trying to keep the home ventilated at the same time. How do you create that balance? You want ventilation to come in and you're trying to avoid the dust during this period. What do you do?
So I'm very excited about this question because we've always, in global warming and climate change, spoken about outdoor air pollution. Today, I am going to tell you there's something called indoor air pollution. When the humidity in your home is between 40 and 60%, it is okay. There are some machines they use to measure humidity. When you open your windows, you want to ensure that the humidity is the right range. But how do we do this without not having First of all, when you open your window and you notice that dust is coming in, it's hotter, then you know the humidity is low. You shut your curtains, even though it looks stuffy, it feels stuffy, but you have improved the humidity. If you want light and you open your curtains again, wear your nose masks if dust is coming in, and take a lot of water because the heat coming in is dehydrating you. There are machines in developed parts of the world that take care of indoor air pollution. We should not cook at this time with fossil fuels, firewood, indoors during Harmattan. It causes sicknesses, it causes pneumonia, it causes asthma in children, it causes bronchitis. Children even also cough and die. And we are wondering, he wasn't ill, he just ate and all. These are tips that you have to learn about indoor air pollution. Take care of yourself, take care of your children, and be aware and conscious of the environment.
You know, when you mentioned you shouldn't cook with firewood outside, I'm just thinking what that mama in the village will do now as an alternative because of the smoke, I understand. But what about people who smoke, you know, cigarettes?
So I'm going to start from the first question, which is why this Renewed Hope administration agreed to put environment in a state like FCT, because we have to do advocacy. Advocacy is teaching, preventing, health protection, and we know that around here a lot of people cook with fossil fuels, wood. What we are preaching now is switch to gas, cleaner energy, renewable energy. But I have met a company, which I can't say here for branding purposes, who have developed smokeless coal. There are some coal pots that I've seen. The coal is heating up the food, but there's no smoke coming out. But if in the end, there's nothing you can do, you cannot afford gas, you cannot afford smokeless pots, please wear a nose mask at least when cooking outdoors, and ensure that there's a lot of water to hydrate you, and around you, peradventure, the fire is about to happen. And indoors, fire extinguishers are very important.
You haven't talked about the smoking.
Now,
cigarettes.
Smoking cigarettes, not only in Harmattan, at any time of the year, is bad for your health. Smoking causes cancer. I say this again, smoking causes cancer. And during Harmattan, when you inhale hot air, you are further dehydrating your dehydrated lungs and airways already. For people that smoke, we will call you vulnerable during Harmattan. You are susceptible. That means it's likely you catch a disease that will be very serious than if you didn't smoke. So generally, smoking is not good for your health.
All right, you've said enough. And I'm sure those tips will go down well with our viewers. Thank you so much, Dr. Adedolakbo Ayokun, Fashawe. She's the Mandate Secretary, FCT, Health Services and Environment Secretariat. Thank you for your time. And please do take care of yourself. Wish you quick recovery. Get well soon, okay?
And I have my water.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipments will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
In a nation where voices unite to shape the future comes a groundbreaking television series that delves into the heart of democracy. Get ready for Reshaping Democracy. Hello, Nigeria. Are you ready to take charge of your democracy? I'm Ayodeji Makinde, and I'm thrilled to introduce to you a dynamic television program airing exclusively on the Nigerian Television Authority. Join us as we embark on a journey to explore the pillars of democracy and its impact on everyday life. From discussions with political experts to grassroots movements making waves, Reshaping Democracy is your guide to understanding and participating in the democratic process.
I never know my voice will make a change until I started watching Reshaping Democracy.
This program has opened my eyes to the power of civic engagement. Now I feel empowered to create change.
We invite you to be part of the conversation every Tuesday at 10 in the evening as we navigate the complexities of our democracy and, of course, see how we can contribute to make our country a better one. Don't miss Reshaping Democracy, exclusively on Nigerian Television Authority.
Thank you for staying with us. On the global scene, the United Nations say 2024 is the deadliest year for humanitarian personnel in history. And government of the Democratic Republic of Congo commenced survey of the country's war-torn eastern province. Kolo Mohammed has details.
National delegations and ministers work in corridors to meetings trying to iron out a deal at COP29 in Baku. The talks in Baku, which were scheduled to conclude after 12 days on Friday, extended through the night into Saturday as four countries rejected a draft proposal in which the developed world would provide $250 billion a year to countries worst hit by climate change. Host Azerbaijan said negotiations will drag over the course of the night to produce a final climate deal. Before the year is even over, 2024 has become the deadliest on record for humanitarian personnel worldwide. The figure is said to have surpassed the previous record of 280 deaths for the whole of last year. Humanitarians are working courageously and selflessly in places like Gaza, Sudan, Lebanon, Ukraine, and a host of other conflict-ravaged places around the globe, showing the best humanity has to offer, and they get killed in return. Meanwhile, the head of government in the Democratic Republic of Congo has kicked off an assessment mission in the country's war-torn east. North Kivu and the neighboring province of Ituri have been under siege for 3.5 years. The president of the republic himself said he will enforce the state of siege to restore the state's authority and clamp down on rebel groups. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
On sports update, we hear today was a busy day at the main bowl of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium and all the centers of the 2024 African Military Games holding in Abuja. Francisca Bile will tell us more on that.
Hello and welcome to the African Military Games 2024 update. I am Francisca Bile. The marathon event took the center stage the second African Military Games Saturday, with participating athletes running from the city gates to the airport road and back through the church gate towers before heading for the terminating point for the 42.195-kilometer race at the main bowl of the National Stadium. At the end, it was Tanzania's Alphonse Simbo and Magdalene Crispin Shwairi winning in the male and female categories. Dedefi Abo Gelato claimed silver in the men's race, while Lamide El Hadi secured the bronze medal. It was double joy for the Uganda, who took home silver and bronze in women's race.
First of all, I'm very, very happy to win today, to be a winner, because I focus to win this race because it is a very important race.
And I'm very so happy to take number one to this competition of army.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa was impressed with the level of competitiveness, just as he praised the officials for delivering the hitch-free race.
Fantastic. It's an international standard. We're very happy. You can see everybody is happy with the outing, and we're happy that the athletes also gave in their best. To run 42 kilometers for a marathon is not easy.
Staying at the main bowl, Nigeria's military football team recovered from their extra time loss to Cameroon in Thursday's semi-final to clinch the bronze medal with a commanding 4-0 win over Equatorial Guinea in the third-place playoff, much to the admiration of the home supporters at the stadium. Only Nigeria showed up to the women's football event, and they took the top honor.
Having lost the first game against Cameroon, so we said we have to go all out. At least we must pick a medal, from here, and that was what went, for us.
That spirit of when one family came to us, which we display today. Not just by winning, but at least we trashed our opponents 4-0.
Aside from football, Saturday also saw the end of the contest in some sports, including archery, squash, and basketball. At the Velodrome, Nigeria faced a setback in boxing, with Uganda boxer Japan James Hawkins overcoming his Nigerian contender Ali Olamide in the 54 kg class just minutes into the first round, following a referee's decision to stop the contest. Kenya's Dennis Muthama also defeated Hilary Apaguri with a score of 4-1 in their bout.
I feel so happy because this is not my country. I just came in it, but then now I'm taking the medal home back to Uganda. Just hard work and dedication.
Feeling good because this being my first international match, being outside the country. I'm feeling good. I'm good.
Meanwhile, for the next 6 days, lovers of volleyball are set to witness live action from the indoor sport hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. The technical meeting and draw ceremony took place on Saturday with 6 participating countries, including Ghana, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Kenya, and Algeria, alongside host Nigeria, expressing satisfaction with the level of preparations while declaring their readiness to claim the top prize.
We are working together as a team, and there won't be a problem, and we appreciate the organization so far is fantastic. I appreciate the organization. No problem. We'll be moving together.
Athletics, badminton, and tennis are also coming into the fray this Sunday. The main bowl hosts the track and field event, with the gymnasium hall slated for badminton, while the tennis court will be the venue for tennis. Now, the Nigeria Armed Forces are still topping the medals table with a total of 17 medals made up of 35 gold, 20 silver, and 15 bronze medals. They are being followed by Algeria, South Africa, Tanzania, and Cameroon in the top 5. That's our AMGA update for now. I am Francisca Bile.
The federal government commiserates with the government and people of Katsina State over the demise of Dr. Amadou Kurfi and Ambassador Zakari Ibrahim Suleiman Kodogi reports.
By the Katsina State Governor Duko Umar Rada, the Vice President,
Kashim Shetima proceeded to Kurfi, where he commiserated with the family of the late elder statesman, Dr. Ahmadu Kurfi, who died recently at the age of 94. Describing his lifetime as worthy of emulation, the vice president said that his demise is a great loss not only to the North, but the country as a whole, and prayed that Almighty Allah forgives his shortcomings and grant the bereaved family the fortitude to bear the loss. Also in Katsina, the vice president paid similar visit to the family of late Ambassador Zakari Ibrahim, who passed on last Sunday at the age of 81. Prayer was held for the Almighty Allah to grant the souls of the deceased Al-Jannat Firdaus.
Here at the behest of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to convey our condolences to the family and the government and people of Katsina State over the sad demise of our elder statesman.
On the entourage of the federal government delegation were the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, ministers of agriculture and that of transportation, as well as senators. Suleiman Kudogi, NTA News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, commemorates with the family of late former Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Abubakar Achito Tanko. Dauda Mohammed reports.
Presenting the condolence letter on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Director, Economic Trade and Investment, Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji, eulogized the lifetime of the late former Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, describing him as a dedicated and committed Nigerian who left a legacy of service with distinction.
He was very hardworking, who was very dedicated, and who didn't allow decisions to be be clouded by either tribal or religious sentiments. So what foreign affairs stood for, he upheld.
Speaking on behalf of the family, eldest son of the deceased, Mohammed Abubakar Tanko, expressed the family's gratitude for the condolence message, bearing in mind that their late father served in the ministry almost 20 years ago.
Related with not just the staff of foreign affairs, every place he worked, he lived peacefully with people. And he was very simple, very accessible, and then he is ready to listen to whatever it is you come with.
Marlon Musa Isa led the guests and family to offer prayers for the repose of the soul of the deceased. Late Abubakar Achito Tanko died on Saturday, 16th November after a brief illness. He was at various times Minister of State Interior and that of Foreign Affairs. He left behind 13 children and one wife. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
That's the news tonight. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Good night.